Dialed in
to Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these stuff.
because they know the brews.
And they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
And save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
And
brews.
brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. Nick,
David,
last week was interesting to say.
last week was you know what? I loved it. And it's funny because I was telling people, I was like, man, I finally had an episode where I got to open up and get so passionate about business and like driving somebody to fucking be successful. And it was like,
Yeah, but the business you got excited about.
doesn't matter, but like the goals and the reality of life, I just like it brought me to like who like I love teaching that stuff, right? Like your goals are everything.
Again, I hope they have all the success.
Yeah.
I am not a believer in that.
Multi-level marketing.
Yeah,
It's weird.
none of it.
So, guys, thanks so much for joining us today. Really excited to have a returning guest again. If you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate all the love and support from you guys. Today, David, because I don't care what you're drinking yet, I'm drinking a Perrin Brewing Company Dream Seeker Raspberry Blonde. I have a couple of those left, which tells you how good they were because I didn't drink them all last
Right.
time.
Not your favorite pairing.
Yeah.
I'm starting with a forbidden fruit watermelon hard cider.
Blech.
Yeah, you don't like watermelon.
I don't.
This isn't great. This is more winey than it is cidery.
I do like wine.
You might like this. You want to try?
I do.
It's not bad. It's not one of my favorites. I also have Peach Party from Blake's
Yeah,
and
it still sucks. Same congrats. I don't like watermelon still.
and salted caramel porter from Pigeon Hill.
That's better than this though, which sounds really weird.
Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as you said, we have one of our all-time favorite guests on, Jessie DaSilvia, the Millennial Money Witch. Jessie, what you drinking?
Because we
I
know
am
she's drinking.
Oh, I've got Swamp Head Wild Night, which is their honey cream ale. This is
Nice.
like
That sounds
Perfect
delicious.
drink for summer. Yeah, it's so good. It's not my favorite cream ale. My favorite cream ale comes from Bold City Brewery out in Jacksonville. They have a killer whale ale. It's so good. I'll have to send it to you guys, but this one is a really close second. And I just relocated here, so this is a Gainesville, Florida brewery, and now I'm back here. So this is local beer. Super
Congrats on
local.
the move.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good for
It
you.
just happened like the weekend before last. So.
Is that art behind you? I mean, just still not hung up? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
not. It's not.
I'm gonna
hung
call
up.
you out on your stuff.
Yes. Oh yeah. All my stuff is still like stacked against the wall in my office, but yeah, the art's not up, but the furniture is unpacked. So.
Yeah. We've lived in our house for 8 years, and when people come over and it's a mess, I'm just like, yeah, we still haven't finished unpacking, and we're still going with it.
I mean, I'm still saying that, and I bought my house in 2007, so
That sounds
pushing
like
20
it's
years
just-
there.
That sounds like a great life hack. I'm just gonna adopt that.
You're
Just
welcome
keep it-
for that, folks.
I think I know why Jessie's one of our favorite guests.
Yeah.
She never disappoints with having
a good time.
well, not only that, but a good beer.
Yeah.
I mean, she always drinks something we haven't heard of.
Yeah, so you probably are our best drinking
Guest,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Honored.
Except for the guy from
Oh
Pennsylvania.
my God.
But that's for another day.
No, I want to get into that.
Yeah.
Jesse, we did an episode that we couldn't publish,
We've never not published an episode in our life.
but this guy was so hammered by the time he got on.
No.
He was talking about coke and strippers.
And looking
Oh my
looking for a girlfriend. stuff
Yep.
like- He literally finished a fifth upside. Have you ever seen Catfish Cooley?
No.
Oh, so he's a anyway. So he chugs like a full fifth, but he used to. He stopped drinking, but oh yeah. So this guy got upside down bottle, and I was like, dude, like we are Bucks and Brews. We like to enjoy some beverages and talk some money. Like you are. Whew.
He was
Wait.
gone.
And he got on. He's like, hey, sorry, I was nervous. I started pre-gaming, and I was like, what? At like 9 a.m., bud? Like, holy shit.
We didn't feel it was a good representation, so we decided
Yeah.
not to publish that one.
Yeah, it's and we reached out to him like 20 times.
Yeah.
Because we talked to each other. We're like, hey, it's really not like we actually see it. It's that bad.
Yeah.
We're like, hey man, if you want to do it again, like we just want to let you hear it first, and you tell us if that's what you want to put out. We've never offered this to anybody ever in our life. It's not who we are as people. And he just didn't respond to anything. I mean,
He totally ghosted us.
he offered us 50 of his games, like he's just going to give him all that was free, and it was. But so we at Bucks and Brews have officially not published one episode. Yeah.
Wow.
So you might want to reach out to him and see if he's looking for a job or something.
He has to be looking for a job, because the last time we knew, he was going to fight some guy.
Yeah, it was great. I loved that guy. We could have been best friends.
I don't think you could have. I don't think anybody can be that guy's friend.
Just for a little bit. So
Well, he sounds like he'd make a great client.
He would definitely make a great client if you could ever get him sober.
let me see here. All right. So you last week had the privilege of speaking at the Lavender Law, the annual conference for the National LGBTQ plus Bar Association. How did that go?
Oh, it was so awesome. I mean, like, I've got an affinity for sequins, and so like they did not disappoint. They loved it. I wore a hot pink tiger stripe suit.
I was super fucking jealous of that suit. Like I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck? They don't make this in my size.
It's amazing. And so it was great. I was speaking to like 200 or so law students who were there, like most of them were looking for like their internship for next summer. Right.
Okay.
And so they have a huge job fair. So I was talking to them about mindset, about networking, and like all the tips and tricks that I have on that. And it was just like such a blast. It was my favorite audience I've had so far. It was just like so much fun, like people participating, shouting things out when I asked them to, and then asking questions. Yeah, it was just like laughing at all my jokes. It was fantastic. I had the best time. And then like in exchange, I got to like hang out for the rest of the conference. And on the last day during the luncheon, there was a drag show. I was like, this is the best conference I've ever been to in my life. Like I don't care that I'm not practicing law anymore. I'm going to try and come back every year. Like,
right.
This is awesome.
I've done a few drag shows, or been to them.
I was going to say, you've done them,
but I've never dressed in drag, but I've always been a participant because they find it funny that the one straight guy in the room is there. And so
always.
I am the problem, right? So like I don't know how to, so I just start stripping, right? And then of course like everybody's like, that's not what you do, but I'm like, hey, put the $20 wherever you find it. So
you would start stripping.
I did. Like, well, it was Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy was my song I had to dance to. So there was just me.
What else are you gonna do?
That's what I said, right? And then so everybody's like, oh man, you lost, because it was round of applause. And I was like, no. All right, I officially won, because the guy I was going against was like, no, I'm not going to dance. I'm like, no. Nick went first. Like, he's like, nope. And so he got off stage, and they're like, well, we need another volunteer or whatever. A guy who's already done drag and dance before then becomes my competition. And of course, then he dances to like Barbie girl or whatever. And so then beats me. But I'm like, no, I officially didn't even have the person compete, because I won instantly.
They quit.
That's how good I was. I made a professional have to come on stage to compete against me. Okay. But I did raise more money than him. So I think that's the win.
I see no lies in this.
Right. There's actual video that hasn't ever gone public. They tease me about it, like, and how they're going to post it, but they all know respectfully they won't post that, because what's held in a 250 person room stays in a 250 person room.
Is that to cut off 250 people?
I don't know, but it's that's just life. So you're teaching these young people how to put themselves out there for their what'd you call it? How to find their job.
Yeah.
Or their internship. And now you were on a panel, or was it by you by yourself?
Oh, it was me. I was the whole panel.
Just the whole thing.
I was so excited. I was like, yeah, this is perfect. I love an audience. Give me a mic. I'm ready to go. So it was super fun.
Good. And then are you hoping to get clients out of that?
Yeah, well, I've gotten a couple people are interested in bringing me in to speak. So I've got one law firm who's thinking about bringing me in to speak to their summer associates, and then I've got somebody who's the head of a chamber of commerce up in Maryland wants to bring me in for a speaking engagement and a book signing. So I'm excited. Yeah. So that's really like, and I'm just happy to help. Like I love speaking. So I love going to events, and then the more you go to, the more people want you to come speak. So, it's just giving them tons of opportunities to like see you in action.
That's what I give the people what they want. That's what I always say. That's
Oh yeah.
And so you've moved to a new place. Has your business slowed because of the move, or have you just kept right on track?
Oh, I've kept on track because most of my business is like online, like how I run things. Like it's not usually stuff I'm doing in person with people, except for some of the speaking engagements I'm in person. So, it's just a new airport to fly out of, really. So, I've got that. And then plus I'm also in crunch time for my book, which comes out on September 19th. So that's like right around the corner. Yeah. So I'm like in the process of getting things done. I'm actually releasing my own podcast pretty soon, which I'm excited about.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be out later this month. So yeah, I've got a lot of things going on right now. I keep saying I'm pre-famous. Like I'm about to be famous once the book is out. But it is available for pre-order. And actually, fun fact, you guys introduced me to my partner, who's like my go-to bookseller. So Nicole and Betty's Pages, they're like my official indie bookstore that I'm working with, because I loved her so much when I met her talking on this podcast. And so, yeah, now she's like the person I'm telling everyone to buy their copy from. So
That's awesome.
Good.
So does that mean we're gonna have a book signing at Betty's Pages?
yes, I don't know when it is, but it's going to happen.
That's awesome.
I can't wait. I say when you get here, we're getting so wasted together. Across the road is a brewery.
It won't take much for me. I'm like such a
Yeah.
lightweight, but I'll just eat a lot of pasta beforehand.
That's a great idea. I mean,
Yeah, what could go wrong?
nothing in my book, but we'll find out, I guess. No, that'll be great. Good for you. And what's the name of the book?
It's The Witch's Way to Wealth.
There we
And
go.
so it says every witch's guide to making more money faster and easier than ever. And it's basically all about like the fun manifestation stuff, but then it's also about the mindset, the science behind manifestation, like neuroscience, a little bit of quantum physics light. And then it's got fun stuff like actual spells and like crystals and herbs and things like that. So it's like it's super fun. And it's really funny, if I do say so myself. But it was such a labor of love, but it was just such an enjoyable endeavor to write, just because I love talking and I love sharing and I love writing. So it's pretty fun.
Did you have to handwrite everything? Did you type it all out and then submit it?
No, I hand wrote the whole thing. No, of course not.
That's what I would do.
That was like, I wrote it all up in like Google Drive, and then, and she's thick, like she's like almost 500 pages. Like this is a reference book. It is a doozy, but it's a fun ride. So
Great. No, that's it. Now, who are you using for publishing?
oh I'm actually with a top 10 publisher. So I'm with Source Books. So
Okay, there you go.
yeah.
Good for you. Congrats. September 19th then. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Good for
Yeah.
you. And then
We have guests that have turned into authors all of a sudden. That's
yeah,
really exciting.
I say
Because
Adam.
Jesse, and then one of our contributors, who I don't think I can still say who that is, but he's got a book coming
He's got a book coming out.
So we got at least 3 published
Authors.
authors on the show.
We're doing pretty well for us.
Not too bad.
That's
You
one a
guys
year
are
for
ahead of the
us.
curve.
Yeah, well, we're just like you. We're pre-famous. Granted, we've been doing this for 3 years, and all we've gotten is some good beers.
I mean, we have
That's
gotten
still
some
a
good
win.
beers.
That is still a win.
In all honesty, I mean, Jesse did sponsor us.
She did.
She sent us beer.
So, all right. So you have. I mean, you have. Are you going to go on a big book tour then?
Well, I've got a lot of speaking engagements lined up like the next few months, so we're gonna like piggyback off of that and yeah, probably get some book signings and turn it into a little book tour, which I'm so pumped about to like go see people in person. Actually, I had my first book signing at the publisher, so the week that I spoke at Lavender Law, I had an extra day once the conference was over before I had to head back home and move. So I went out to the publisher, which is like right outside of Chicago, and did a book signing. It was very surreal, but it was just like, it was so fun. Like I kept having flashbacks to being like 13 and practicing my signature because I was like, I'm going to be famous someday.
Yeah.
And then there I am. I'm like signing books. So it was like surreal, but in the best way.
When I get mine signed, I'm getting a winky face on it. So
All right. Yeah, you
yeah,
got it.
That's your goal.
Yep. I say, is it gonna come out on audio?
Yes, I'm actually recording the audiobook at the end of the month. Yeah.
You're the voice of it. Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
like
I
it
was
when the
like, nobody
author-
else can read this in
Right.
my voice. Yeah.
Good for you. That's awesome. I'll probably have to listen to it because I don't read.
I knew that was
I'm
coming.
not really an educated kind of person. So
Audiobooks are still books. So
is that what they say?
That is what they say.
That's the new saying nowadays. My wife is starting a book club with her friends, which I think it'll go one book and that'll be done. But I'm proud of her.
yeah,
I
used to
believe that.
I used to have a wine and cheese club where it was literally we got together once a month to eat cheese and drink wine. We skipped the book altogether, and I highly recommend it because
Yeah.
no one had to feel weird about having read the book or not read the book. It was literally just us eating cheese and drinking wine. Like that's the best kind of club to have.
I'm a little sad that you were in Chicago and didn't let us know because it's 3 hours from us.
We have a weekly beer club.
We do actually. Yeah,
It's called Bucks and
the two of
Brews.
us. Cheers, bud.
As we
I
both
have,
drink
like-
at the same time.
So
I have like no understanding of like the geography of the Midwest because I've only lived in like Florida and DC essentially.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how close everything is or isn't from Chicago. So I had multiple people tell me the same thing, like, you're in Chicago? I could have come to see you. And I was like, I thought that was far.
It's
Like,
all right.
that was far away.
when you're at Betty's Pages, we'll definitely come see you because I think that's 45
Yeah,
minutes from us.
that's pretty close.
at
Perfect,
most.
yeah.
I'll be in Chicago this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. Let's say, yeah, we're here, and then the rest of the world is just somewhere else. That's what I try to tell people. I was like, that's all that matters in this life. So
We're
Got it.
3 to 4 hours from 3 major cities.
yeah. All right. So what's next then? You have. I mean, well, you're working on the audio. You have the book coming out. You're working on speaking engagements. You're not done. So what's next?
Oh man, what's next? Probably a second book, after seeing how the first one goes. It's one of my goals, like one of my dreams to have a show on Netflix. I'd love to have a TV show. I think I'd be fun on there. I've had it like, because I have a very high maintenance sister, and I have this idea for a show where we just like travel to go see witchy shit, like, and explore witchy shit. And it's half like travel show. And then we also travel to go see scientists who can explain it to us. Like, how is this scientifically possible? Don't disprove it, explain it, like prove it with science. So that's going to be my goal eventually, probably long term, but you never know. It could happen sooner than we think. So
Yeah, no, that'll be fun.
yeah.
My wife is going on a haunted, like a haunted drink tour in the end of August.
Did you have me at drinks?
Yeah, I'm not into ghost and haunted
Yeah.
stuff and all that, but like, yeah, they're gonna do this whole tour thing. So she likes the witch stuff too. So I think she wants to go to Salem at some point in our life, but I have no want. So
Bachelor party, we're doing a gangster tour.
yeah, that'd be fun.
That will be fun.
All right, so you want to do I have some people that work for Netflix, so
What?
yeah, they're some investor friends of mine.
I guess you need to,
Say off
Hook
air.
a girl
Off
up.
air, I'll have to hook you up with that. So
Yeah, sounds
Oh.
great.
That'll be fun. Can I be on the show? I mean, I can't be one of your people that you follow, apparently, and can't be one of the people you call when you go to Chicago.
Are you going to be the scientist?
Say, yes. Say some shit happened over here. And that's
Nick, how do you explain this ghosty stuff?
say drink a lot of beer, a lot of shit happens.
I was gonna say a haunted ghost tour. That sounds like a recipe for definitely seeing a ghost. Like they're onto something. That's a great business model.
Yeah. I say, Grand Rapids is actually really old. I mean, everything Midwest and East
Is really old.
super old,
Yeah.
and then it gets newer as you get to California or Alaska.
It's all old there too. It's just
Yeah.
not white people
Right.
old.
The same, but all right. So a Netflix show. Have you started writing? Have you started writing for that Netflix show?
Not yet, but it sounds like I'm gonna have to.
It sounds like you're gonna like this is gonna be perfect. All right, and then now your day-to-day business, right? You're teaching people still how to find their dream job, right?
Yep, I do that. So I help people find their dream job. And then I also help people start and scale profitable businesses. So I also help on the business strategy side of things. And I do work with some companies on like helping with their retention rates on their employees. That hasn't been like as big, like it hasn't been my main focus, but that's probably like also in the direction that I'll go in. Because I want to, I really want to like change work culture for the best from both the top and the bottom, right? Like I'm changing it from the bottom by talking with people about like what you can ask for, what you deserve, believing that you're capable of having what you want, that it exists out there, and then also working with people from the top to be like, here's how you can create better work environments where people don't feel the need, like that pressure to leave after 2 years. Because that's nobody I've ever worked with has been like, yeah, I'm so excited to quit my job because I'm not getting paid well, or it's like not a great environment. Like people don't like job hunting.
Right.
And most people would rather go get a colonoscopy than go through a whole job hunt. So I want to go and like really address it at the top as well. Like, how do you create an environment when you don't have the budget to give people the salaries that you may want to give them? What else can you do? How can you create a great workplace for them?
David shared a really good video with me.
What was it?
About a lady who it's something like Grubhub or Uber Eats or whatever.
Okay.
And she just gave the employees an hour a day to not work, right? So like they're not supposed to actually work in the middle of the day, and they can go do whatever they want. And so then an employee asked, well, is that above and beyond our lunch break? And she goes, well, during this hour you can eat your lunch or you can do whatever you want.
Take a nap.
Yeah. So basically she just resold the legal lunch break to these people and just respit it out. Yeah. And I was like, that was really intriguing.
I mean, sometimes you got to put a spin on it.
Yeah.
So
we want you to not do this.
Because you work with a lot of people, Jesse, job seeker wise, from an employer standpoint, a shocking trend I'm noticing is for every interview we set up, let's say every 10 interviews we set up, 2 people show up to that actual interview. And I don't understand what is going on. And it's not just us, it's a lot of people. So like one of our vendors set up 35 interviews over 2 days last week, and 2 people showed up for those interviews.
Yeah.
What is the motivation to set it up and not show?
I have no idea, because those are not my clients, like honestly, because it's almost like, it feels a lot like online dating. I don't know if you've ever I mean, like, I know you guys have been together with your partners for a while, so I don't know, like, if you had to do the whole Tinder dance at some point.
No,
never had to do Tinder,
horrible.
but I did meet my wife online.
Xanga. Say her
But it's
excited.
like, Yeah, you're like as a woman, I'm like swiping on stuff. This is years ago. I'm like swiping, and I'm just like, it's so bad. Like people don't respond to me, or they like send me unsolicited dick pics, or it's like they're
Which this is an
creepy.
actual okay.
Yeah.
Like we've had a guest on here who does that type of stuff.
Yes.
And I didn't realize how many men actually do this, because I always heard about this, but I thought this was a
All the
joke.
time.
And I'm like, holy
All the time.
balls. Like, guys, they literally just send it.
Oh
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
no
yeah.
idea.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's because I've been married a long time and I've been with my wife, over 20 years.
Yeah.
But I just assume nobody wants to see that. So I would never think of just sending it to someone.
But like, I understand it if it's like, what do you call those? A picture that's like a playgirl, like where it's set in a scene, like
Okay.
everything is there, and like Boudreaux, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Or,
okay.
like, however you say
Yeah,
that.
but usually you don't do that to somebody you don't know.
No, right?
Yeah.
But like, all I'm saying is like that's the only time I'd probably send something, is like if I had it custom taken for like
For a specific
Yeah,
purpose,
like,
for your wife.
here's my
Right,
anniversary, and I
exactly.
made her a 12 days of
Right.
Nike, like
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
I
like
didn't-
different.
you get them
That's
too, huh?
Yeah, those are consensual, most
Yeah.
of the time. So yeah, it's like, for a while I was just like, is it me? Like this is terrible. Like this
No.
is like, it's so hard. And it's like, you go through like 50, 100 people before you have like one date. And then you don't know if it's going to be a good date or not. And then like, I remember my brother was complaining about online dating, and I'm like, it can't be as bad as it is for women. Like, let me see. No, it's bad. Like it's just like women not responding, no clit pics or anything, but it's like,
Sure.
like it's just like they don't respond, or they unmatch really fast, or they're just like kind of weird. It was just like, I was like, wow, I don't know how anybody gets together anymore. I have no idea. And so I have that same kind of thought about like job hunting, because I have like the job hunting clients I work with are like, why are people always ghosting me? Like, why can't I get a response saying like, you haven't been selected so I can move on with my life? Why do I have to chase people down just to get rejected?
Yeah.
Then I have like people who are trying to hire people saying like, why can't I get anybody good in the door? And I'm like, I really have no idea. Like, honestly, like, I don't know why it's so bad, because if you talk to people who are hiring, they're like, the worker pool is awful. There's no talent. There's nobody who's interested. And then when you talk to the job hunters, they're like, there are no good jobs. I can't find anything. And, people don't respond to me. So I honestly, I think it's like, when it like the online dating situation, it's just like, I have no idea how anybody finds anyone anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear
So-
that. I mean, guys have the same problem that girls have.
We had a job interview yesterday.
Yeah.
And they don't show. And Dawn sends out her normal message. Hey, since you didn't show up, I'm assuming you don't want the job anymore, but it'd be nice if you just told the employer, hey, I'm not interested, instead of just not showing.
Yeah.
She got a reply back. Hey, I didn't miss my interview. I had a dentist appointment.
What?
That's what he said. I didn't miss my interview. I had a dentist appointment. Well, great. You didn't tell us about the dentist appointment. So you missed your fucking interview. And he goes, can I reschedule now? And she sends it to me. And I'm like, fuck no.
I would have said yes and then not showed up. Like, I would have said it for like, I don't know, a Monday at like 5 o'clock or 6.
Yeah.
You're not
And
here.
just not show up.
It's been like, yeah, sorry, we had dentist appointment. We had,
We had a dentist
sorry,
appointment.
our cat called and said we had to come home.
The audacity of him
That's
to
it.
go, oh, I didn't miss my
Yeah.
interview. I had a dentist. Cool.
That's great.
You got a reminder that you had an interview too. You could have just said, hey, I have a dentist appointment. I'm not going to make the interview.
Yeah. No, and I think a lot of it, right? When you okay, so warehouses and factories is having a hard time. Okay, well, the only way they're going to get somebody from a different place is to offer more money, right?
Yeah.
But it's really hard because you talked about, hey, having no skill and no talent. Okay, if I walk into a place right now, if I wanted to go back and get a job, let's say Gentex. I mean, I was making 23. I don't even know. and you want me to go drive a high-low. Well, we start at 16, 18. Well, no, I have experience. Well, we'll start, yes, 18. Right? No, like, I mean, I have 10 more years of experience than the person that's walking, or 15 years more experience than the person walking.
Yeah.
No, start me at higher because I'm worth more than that, right? Like, you don't have to sit here and train me on that. Well, we don't know that. Great. So when I show you can beep a horn and look backwards, you're going to pay me $5 an hour more.
Again, I think Jesse can speak to this. There are a lot of job seekers that know their worth and they're just not willing to take less. Am I wrong?
No, that's absolutely the case. And more people are thinking that way. I've said that like the pandemic is really like what changed a lot of things. And I'm like, the last thing you want is like all of your employees to sit around thinking about like whether they're happy or not, or whether they deserve more or not. And it was also like that, that moment where it's like, I tell my clients all the time, I'll be like, when they feel guilty about leaving their workplace or something, I say, what happens if you die tomorrow? What are they going to do? Everyone's going to be sad for like a week, and then they're going to repost the job online. Like, they're not going to give that a second thought because like that's a need that they have to fill. You have to have that same kind of mentality about it. You have to like realize like what your worth is. Like, you don't work for a company, you work for Me Inc. That's it. You work for yourself. That needs to be the top priority. And so I think that that's like something that a lot of like talented and skilled workers are starting to see, where they're like, there are companies out here who will invest in my growth or invest in like my skills or see me as an asset and like provide me with good compensation and benefits.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies and industries are reeling from the fact that workers have finally had that realization.
Well, I have a niece who is 19, who's just frustrating as hell to me.
She worked here
As
for a bit.
19-year-olds are.
Right. Well, she did work here, right? And so I was like, and I even told her, I was like, look, go get a full-time job, do that part-time. Like, but she just took a job at a gas station making $14 an hour. And there is factories and other things. Like, I have a gas station by my house that's starting at 15, and she went and took one farther away from her own self, like for 14. She
Spartan across the road's hiring for 21.
21, yeah, 19, 21. Yeah, like, and so I'm sitting here just going, oh my God, like, if you're going to trade your time for money, it better be the most money for the least amount of time. Right? Like, understand that you're giving up your life. Like, you're trading something that you have that they want for something that you want that they have, right? Like, and nope, $14 an hour. I don't think she has any fucking benefits, like nothing, and she doesn't understand that, right? And and I'm like, hey, how much are you investing? Well, I'm putting into my savings account. Okay, when's the last time you touched your savings account? Well, it's been a while. What's a while? 2 weeks? Like, good for you, right? Like, we went to Florida, and I remember. I found out, basically, because she's like, oh yeah, I've been saving. Oh, I can't afford to do this or whatever. And I was like, wait, you've been working for 6 months and you can't afford $100? Like, what do you have planned? No, I don't have money until I get paid on Friday. Wait, you told me you've been saving this whole time. Like, I've asked you, I don't care where you financially are. Don't fucking lie to me, right? Like, I don't care, right? If you just say, hey, I'm broke, can't do it, I don't care. Like, cool, I got this. But if you're going to tell me that you've been saving, you've been doing all this, now I care. Now I'm pissed, right?
Well, looking at the job market, let's say, I think employees have something that they haven't had in 40 years, which is some control and some power
for a little bit.
And companies are really trying to get that back. That's why you're seeing all this return to work bullshit. And I mean, my boss, who I like, said to us at one point, yeah, I don't think we're going to bring you back to the office. And my answer was, that's great, because I haven't been in the office since 2011 and I'm never coming back. And she went, oh, well, I don't see any reason to ever bring you back. Good, because I'm not coming back. I'll just quit.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And that's
There's also, there's so much shame around money for so many people too. So it's like, when you're like young and dumb and broke, it's like you're almost embarrassed to admit that you're young and dumb and broke because you don't want to be seen as a kid anymore. And so you're like, yeah, I've been saving and I've been doing this, and it may not be realistic. It's not like a realistic take on like where you actually are. And so it's always like, it's always a weird place to be, a weird place to like navigate those things. And I think that we as a society are only kind of coming around to that idea now. Before it would, that old saying was like, you never talk about like money, politics, or religion,
Yep.
right? And like now it's people are realizing that by not talking about money, that's where you end up screwing yourself, because you don't know if you're like getting paid more or less, especially when it comes to like marginalized groups and women and things like that. Like half the time it's like someone who's got your same job but happens to be male, or somebody who came in after you because you've been there for a few years, came in at a higher salary, and you have no idea because you're not having those conversations, because that's like not the polite thing to do.
Yep.
And like we need to be talking about money openly all the time, and
Yep.
like really like getting like dispelling with that shame that like keeps us from being open about it.
Yeah, we were talking about that in one of the episodes. Like my Gentex job, I mean, I started at $10 as a temp, got hired in at 11, and then 2 weeks later got my raise to $13.70 in the warehouse. Because I've had, I was working my temp in the warehouse, had to go to the line for 2 weeks, and then got hired in, and then got my job. But so then we're talking in the break room, and there was a guy that had been there for 9 years or 7 years, whatever it was, and I was making 15 cents more than him an hour, and he was pissed. And so then the company went back and like, oh hey, yeah, this is our new starting D level rate, and they had to bring everybody that was in level D up to my current salary. And I'm like, dude, granted, I had just the same amount of experience type thing from past jobs, but not in that company. And so he was making just as much as me. So they retroactive like 6 months worth or however long, 3 months worth. So they all got like, $200 checks for the 15 cents for hours that they worked. But yeah, so if you don't talk about it, like you have no idea what these people are making.
I'm on the phone yesterday with my coworker, and
Yeah.
I said, basically what I make, and my wife goes, "Should you be saying that?" I'm like, she knows what the fuck I make. I don't make any. I don't keep this a secret. I don't really give a shit if they know or not.
Well, and it's hard because like older generations and older people, when I walk into a company, I always find the oldest person and try to figure out what the fuck they make, because you've been there the longest. I want to know what my top potential is. And if you're making $2 more an hour than me and you've been there for 25 years, oh shit, like this isn't going to go well for the both of us, right?
No,
like,
you're going to get shitty raises.
Yeah, no, hard pass for me. And I tell people all the time, I was like, if you ever drive into a job, you look in the parking lot, see what people are driving, because the average American will spend what they make.
Yep.
So when you drive in, everybody's driving this beater ass truck. It's not everybody's financially responsible. It's that they're paying that shitty that people are not doing this, right? The one guy's over leveraging his truck that he has not. But like, I remember that at New Life. I mean, everybody just had beat ass cars, and I'm just like, oh crap, this job's not going to pay shit. And then you go to Gentex, and it's like, oh man, there's a mix of quite a bit. So this is going to be a decent looking job. And it paid pretty well. I have no complaints about their pay in a general sense of things. So,
yeah, it's just the rest of it.
Yeah, so everything it all goes back to how it ended. So when do you see companies actually listening to the employees and getting on their? Can you walk us through how you've helped with employee engagement and things like that, or getting them just as much as the top person?
Right. So like a lot of times, like, I tell the company, like, if you're going to re-engage your employees and you're going to hire me, you need to understand that like they're either going to get re-engaged or they're going to go find another job, because, it tends to be like almost like a 50-50 split. Some people are not engaged in the job because they're in the wrong job, or they just like, it doesn't light them up. They don't care or whatever. Like that's a real thing that happens. And then the other half is going to be like people who want to be engaged, but they don't feel like they're a valued part of that company or that organization. And so, part of it is going to be communication. Like how do you have, management communicating? And then also like, how are you keeping tabs on management as well? Because, a big part of that is like the 360 review. I don't know if you've heard of these before, where it's like, annually, the employee is not the only one getting a performance review. They're also going to review their manager. And I like to talk about these, even though they're can sound like scary, right? Because it's like, oh, well, we don't want that much power. But I say that it's not that, like, if you see that one person saying anonymously, like, oh, this person's a terrible manager and yada, 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 you're like, okay, well, that could be a personality clash. But if you're seeing that over and over and over again, then that tells you there's a problem. The other part of that being exit interviews. Are you actually conducting appropriate exit interviews when people are leaving? And are you actually like looking into the things that they say? Because most people like don't like, on the exit interview, they're going to say something. They're going to like, at least give you a taste of the tea if it's not like entirely like bashing it. And so you need to take those things seriously and really look into it, because that's how you can kind of get ahead of the problems. And then finally, like looking at the ways that you can show appreciation if you don't have the budget for like salary raises. I know so many people are afraid of a potential recession happening again or an economic downturn. So like I get it, but paying for somebody, like if you were to pay for somebody to go to a conference and like get training, it's like, let's say like hotel, conference registration, all of that. Let's say it's like going to be $5,000, right? That is going to make that person feel so important and so like cared for and so appreciated. And it's going to have that same impact, and it's 15 grand shorter than a $20,000 salary raise, right? And so it's like you're able to communicate the same kind of thing on a budget where you can have that transparency too. I think especially with younger generations, they really care about transparency. So if you're saying, listen, I can't give you the raise that you want this year, but what I can do is I can like get you some learning. I can pay for a degree. I can pay for some classes, or I can send you to a conference. Like, I want you to know that you're appreciated. I want you to know that we want to keep you here long term. So where can we give you things that like are going to help you be better in this role and show that you're appreciated?
Yeah.
So it's going to vary depending on the organization and the people involved, but it's, it starts with those big silos.
Yeah. I think that was one of my biggest problems with Gentex. I mean, granted, they did a lot, like their, reimbursement for college and stuff like that, but there was an opportunity to go to the Germany warehouse, and they wanted a boss, and they wanted, 2 employees. And I was like, they're like, hey, who has passports? And I was like, I was the only person. They're like, hey, you need to go get your passport, and you. And I was like, I have mine. I've been here for, 10 years. Like, why the hell am I not going? Oh, well, you don't have a college degree and blah, blah. And I was like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any difference, So it's basically, hey, no matter what, you're not going anywhere. And I'm like, cool, you've spoken loud and clear. Like, I know where I stand at this point, right? And it's like, again, it was supposed to be an employee. It wasn't supposed to be like, hey, who's moving up and doing whatever, right?
I'm all for higher education. I'm educated.
Now, way to go.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. And those things irritate the shit out of me.
Oh my God. There's so many stupid lawyers I went to school with.
Yeah.
I'm like, how have you gotten here?
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I and it's funny because, these people are talking about like, oh, hey, pizza parties and things like that. And it's, okay, it's different when you're working for a multi-million-dollar company versus you guys offering pizza, right? Like you guys offering pizza is huge. You're a small business. They see that you're trying, right?
So when I was having my last medical issue,
yeah,
and I had to run the business, when Dawn got back that day, I bought pizza for the 2 guys. And that meant a lot to them because they worked their ass off for me that day.
Yeah.
I bought a fucking hot and ready, Nick. It was, what is it, $7?
$6.
So they were thrilled because, I appreciated them and they felt valued because I spent $7 on a fucking pizza for them. And again, I mean, one's 28 and the other one's 16. So I know I can motivate them with food. So I do.
Yeah.
But again, it's the small gestures when you're at a small business.
Yep.
Because, we're not making millions of dollars a year. We're busting our ass just to try and break even.
Well, and I won't say where my wife works, the current company or whatever, but everybody's been talking about wanting more money and things like that. And then of course you look up the CEO, and during COVID, everything was like, oh, we can't do anything. We're on lockdown. Like we're afraid of
No
this and that.
raises.
But the CEO
Yep.
got his biggest raises during this COVID period of time. And, you know, he's making $500,000 more, you know, and it's like, holy shit. Like, and I'm trying to explain to her, I was like, look, he's raised 200% in the 5 years you've been here.
Mhm.
And you've raised what? 6%, like not even, I think it's like 4.2%,
Yeah.
right? Because you get a 3% raise and another 3% raise, and I think it goes up to like 4.5%, right? Like you haven't gotten anything, you know, and this guy gets a 200%. So the pay difference is, you know, and that's why I say, like, hey, if you're giving the top person a raise, great, you get 3%, right? Like, hey, you get 3%, you get you know, Oprah Winfrey, baby, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the
And
same
you know,
car.
it's like the thing is that like so many people think like, oh, that's the status quo, so I can't like argue about it, right? Like every CEO is doing that. That's how it is at every company. But that's not true. You know, like one of my favorite people, especially on LinkedIn, is Dan Price. He's the
Oh
CEO
gosh,
of
no.
Gravity. Yeah, oh my God, Gravity Payments, where he took a massive pay cut to make sure that they didn't have to lay anybody off. I think it was like during the pandemic. And then like their starting salary, no matter what your role is, when you come in, is $70,000.
Yep.
And like he has accepted lower salaries to make sure that that happens. And that guy's like still making hand over fist. Like that's he's not hurting from that decision. He's just not making what, you know, the people at the top of other organizations are.
Yeah, we had a Dan Price episode, and
We
then
did.
I lost a little respect in 2020 for him, the end of December.
The allegations.
The allegations that are still ongoing.
Yeah. Sexual assault allegations. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that cut me to the core because I really liked Dan
yeah,
Price.
you were a
I-
big Dan Price guy.
I was, and that kind of cut me to the core.
Yeah. No, and
And again, I mean, Jesse brings up a great point. As a CEO, so you don't make 5 million, you make 1.
Yep.
Can you live with it? Because I can.
and you know, that's we were talking about this. My electrician and I actually called me today, and we were talking, and we were talking about raising prices. So my electrician, right? You used to be able to buy 100 foot of wire for $30. Now you go buy it for 120. He said, look, the prices of everything has gone crazy. And I said, right now, currently what's going on is they're literally cutting this middle class. They don't want a middle class anymore. So if you were on the teeter of poor to middle, you were officially poor.
Correct.
If you were nowhere near that upper class, you were poor.
Yes.
Like, you know, I said the difference is like, hey, we're making, you know, even if you're at $180,000 a year, well, you lived up to that. So now you're still in that lower end, where the guy who made $50 million is now making 49. His steak choice didn't change. His life didn't change. He still got the damn boat that he wanted. He did everything that he still wanted. He just took $1 million, and $1 million to him didn't change any part of his life. Where, you know, I know, and it's a gambling addiction, but like I know people when they play a lottery and they get so excited for $100, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you have to understand that what's happening right now is they're literally trying to cut this middle class so far out of life. Like, hey, you know what?
Because they expect everybody to just take it.
Yep. And but people will, right?
And they are, unfortunately. I mean, I've said before, 100,000 a year used to be the cutoff for us. On if we made over 100,000, we can do pretty much anything we want.
Mhm.
I think we made 106 last year.
Yeah.
And with the medical debt I have from trying to die, we're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yep.
And it fucking sucks.
No.
It's so true. Yeah. And you know, there was a stat that came out like past couple of years saying like, you miss out. I think it was like your salary will be like what? I think it was like 40 or 50% lower if you don't switch jobs. Like if you switch jobs every few years, you can pretty much get a 20% increase on your salary with each job change. And like that's the thing that like people are now realizing is that like people don't want to job hop. Nobody's doing that because they like love starting over and meeting a bunch of strangers and learning a whole new role. Like nobody enjoys that process, but it's the only way that they have to advance that salary.
Yeah, I'll give a great example of this. So I have a buddy who wants to get into real estate. He was working for a medical company. He was making, so I don't remember the exact, let's say 2004 he started. He was making, let's call it $20 an hour. 2008, 9, 10 hits, whatever. During that time, he takes a 10% pay cut. So he goes to $18, goes all the way up until 2 years ago. And he was back to 20 or very close to it. Right. That's how shitty his raises were along the way. 2 years ago, quits his job, goes and takes a job for $15 or $16 an hour, working for a friend of mine just because he wanted to get into real estate. Gives it a good, solid effort for 2 years. Calls back the job that he originally had and was like, "Hey, you guys hiring?" Yep. Now is making $29 an hour because that's their new starting rate. If he never quit, he would only be at like $21. Like, I'm like, holy shit balls. Like, they're willing to give it to the new person, but not to you. Like,
well, then again, I think this goes generationally. So Gen X is way less invested in job hopping. You know, I've been at my job 20 some odd years. I'm Gen X. I really don't want to switch.
Yeah.
Whereas millennials are like, fuck it, you're gonna pay me $2 more an hour. I'm out. Bye.
Yep.
I had somebody at a talk ask me, they were like, I don't understand. Like, you're saying that like millennials and Gen Z are so like afraid of financial instability. Like, why would you leave a job? And it was like a Gen X person. Like, well, then I would never leave my job out of like that same fear of financial stability. And like what it comes down to is it's those historic events that like shaped millennials and Gen Z's views on work and workplace culture. And a big one of those being the 2008 recession and the rise of the gig economy. Because what happened is that millennials were the ones graduating, not having jobs or having to stay in internships a lot longer or take a bunch of gig jobs, like, you know, piece together income from multiple jobs. And so they trust themselves over the company. Like, I know I'll always fall on my feet. I know I can always make rent at the end of the month if I'm only depending on myself. And like, that's where that comes from. And so it's like the fear of stability, like the fear of financial instability is what keeps them seeking the higher salary outward, like outside of the company that they're in. Whereas for a lot of Gen Xers, that stability comes from staying in the same place. Like, this is a guaranteed paycheck.
Well, see, and I've looked for jobs since I finished my degree.
Yeah.
But if I leave within 2 years, I have to pay back all the money they gave me.
Sure.
So I'm not looking hard, but I probably applied to 60 different jobs in the last year and a couple months. Ask me how many interviews I've had.
Go on.
None.
Really?
Not a fucking one.
Send your resume to Jessie. She'll look it over, tell you what you're doing wrong.
Well, the thing is that like, it's like networking really is like what it comes down to find like the good stuff, because this is the thing I always see is that like a lot of jobs, because you'll go on LinkedIn and like there are good jobs there and then it'll say like 500 applicants, right? Like so many hundreds of people have applied already to it. You don't even know if that job's available. You don't know if it's like held for somebody else and they just have to comply and put it up for a certain number of days. You have no idea. And like half the time, like, you know, a lot of jobs get filled without ever getting posted anywhere. Especially like the companies people are dying to work for, like that, you know, people love or that have really great benefits. People refer their friends because they want to like work with their friends. Maybe they get like one of those bonuses for, you know, bringing out like referring somebody to a job. So those jobs don't get posted. They're getting filled, filled through referral, or they're getting filled before they're even out there. And so the only way to figure out like, is this actually a job that's available is to network, because somebody will tell you, oh yeah, so that's like an internal hire. Somebody's like switching departments or someone's getting upgraded or whatever. You know, when I was doing my last job hunt, which I landed my job like solely through networking. I didn't send out a single cold application. You know, people saved me loads of time just telling me like, yeah, that job's not actually available, or that job salary is like way below what you're making right now. So it's like not worth you even looking at it. And that's still valuable. people think like, oh, that's like demoralizing. And it's like, no, that just saved me so many hours of time of like tailoring my resume and writing a cover letter and sending this in and all the follow-up emails, or like, God forbid they bring me in for an interview to do the whole song and dance, and it's like the job wasn't even like really, I had no chance at it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's like where networking really comes in, because that's how, especially like if you're not super looking, that's the best time to be networking, because you get to just like build your network and like recruit people to your team to like be your professional friends. And it's like they'll keep you in mind as the years go on, as long as you're like touching base now and then and things like that. It's like that's the best place to be in. I always say, like, you want to start your job hunt as soon as you have the idea of like, maybe I'll be ready for a job in like another year or two. That's when you start networking, because if you wait until you're ready, that's when it's like you're so desperate to leave that you'll take anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't have the same standards that you do when you're casually looking.
Yep. Well, it's when I got my last one, I mean, I didn't apply in any way, right? It was a casual conversation, stuff like that. Hey, oh, you're looking for some side stuff? Great. Why don't you come do this? Yeah. Walk me through what you see this looking like.
Right.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, let's do this. And then, I get people all the time. Hey, oh, you should come work for me. Well, walk me through it. And I'm thinking $30,000 a year and you work 90 hours a day.
You're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard pass for me, dog. Like, yeah, but you have so much knowledge. I know I do. Like, that's why it's worth way more than that,
Yeah,
buddy.
you need to pay for that knowledge.
That's why, like, I always say, like, one of the tricks that I teach people is that, like, when you get a job offer, like, always, like, if you're nervous, you're like, oh, they seem great, but I don't know if they're just like putting on a whole song and dance for me. So you can always say like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, I'm, so honored that you offered it to me. Could I talk one-on-one with the team members I'd be working with more, like the most, before I formally accept? Because if you've ever been at a shitty job, which most of us have, and you've seen someone come in for an interview and you're like joking with your coworkers, you're like, run, don't do it. Like, I wish I could tell them how bad it is here. Most of those people will tell you, maybe not directly, but they'll tell you in a way that helps you read between the lines.
Yep.
So networking is really good for that too, because they'll tell you like straight up, like, don't work here, it's horrible. But if you get to the point where you have an offer, like everything's looking pretty good, that's always a way you can kind of, navigate it to make sure, because people who genuinely love their job will, like, they'll tell you. And like when you phrase it like, I want to talk to the people I'd be working with the most, they can't necessarily like, oh, here's our happiest delusional employee, or like star child whom we love. It's going to be the people that you're actually working with.
Well,
and then you have more freedom to have that conversation.
And when I was looking, I had that happen. I applied. I had 2 interviews with the owner. I mean, she's a great owner. I mean, I really give her so much credit. And we talked, and I was like, I told her where I was. I was like, look, I'm in real estate. I'm looking for something. I have this little short of a plan. I'm a very honest person. Sometimes I shouldn't be as honest, but I was like, look, I think at the time it was like, I need 10 more years or 12 more years, and I don't know where I'll be after that. This is where I see myself. And I talked to the employees, and the employees like, look, it's a basic job. You're gonna work, and we're gonna go home, and well, she's cool to work for, stuff like that. But it's not everything, right? I'm like, yeah, cool. That's all I'm looking for. And she sat me down in like the 3rd interview type thing. She's like, hey, I just want to be honest with you. Like, I think you have so much more potential than being here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to give you what you want. I don't think this. And I was like, I completely respect that. Like, and I appreciate that, right? Like, let me buy into the business and, we'll be partners. But, because we were talking about this. She's like, I need a $75,000 machine. And I was like, well, shit, I can do a loan, right? Like, and, but it was just because, here the job was like $16 an hour. It's just around the corner type thing. And, I still think it'd be a great job for me, just because like I love to make signs and stupid shit like all day. For me it'd just be a hobby. But she wanted an actual full worker.
Somebody invested.
But she was great. She was very honest and like, hey, really, you have so much more potential than being just what I can offer you. And I was like, yeah, but And I even tutored her. Like I was like, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because I want to be this high. I want to be this. I want this. Like if you're telling me you're going to own the world, I want to be right there with you owning the world, right? Like I'm fine
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah,
So,
I had that happen to me too. Like I had a former law school classmate who had interviewed at an office where I was working. It was like about a year or two out after graduation. And it was a horrible place. Like it was a terrible environment and the pay was really shitty and it was just like the boss was horrible. Like it was just like I was there for a year and I left. And she had asked me ahead of time. She was like, "Hey, I see like you're working here. You know, they called me to set up an interview. Just wanted to see like, what's going on." And I was like, "What's your phone number? Like, let's get
right.
on." You know. And then I was like, "You need to run." I was like, "I know you're desperate for a job. I know like you're coming to the end of your savings and stuff. It is not worth it. It's going to trap you. It's a dead end place. Like, do not do it." And so she was like, "Ooh, okay." So she canceled her interview. And I think it was like maybe like a month, 2 months later, she ended up getting an incredible job and she's like still there. Like she's still at this law firm, like loving life. But it's like people will shoot you straight for the most part, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think most employees will, right? Say if you're talking to the HR team who does nothing for you as a person, because HR
Right.
just absolutely sucks, right? I mean,
They're there for the company, not the
100%,
employees.
right? So, but
I can tell you, we're going through a transition at our place.
Yep.
In what I do. And I'm at that age now where I have no fucks left to give. So I was on a meeting today with, the person that's the head of this transition. And he goes, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Not very damn good. I can tell you that." "All right, what's going on?" And I laid it all out because I have no fucks left to give.
right.
And he's like, "All right, well, we need to address these things because we need you to be comfortable." And I'm like, "Great. You're at least saying the right shit because I'm the one going to be using this. And if I'm not comfortable, I'm just not doing it. Plain and simple. Don't care." And I mean, I'm at that point in my career of been there over 20 years. You want to make a go of something that isn't going to work. You're doing it without me. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll go find something else. I don't really care. And I mean, there are a lot of employees out there that feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think most managers put up with it because they've had them as employees for God knows how long. You've gone through more managers than anybody I know, but
Michael Jordan, 23.
right. So, it's insane that you've gone through more managers than years you've worked there. Right.
Yeah.
That's, but and we go back to it and people don't leave,
Jobs.
right. They leave bad managers, bad companies, things like that. Right. I mean, nobody leaves when they're happy.
The hardest I've looked is when I've had bad managers.
Yeah.
And, my manager right now, I like my manager. She's good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking, but I'm not looking.
Right. You're not going out there going, "Oh man, I did a
No.
good job yesterday."
Nope.
So,
Yeah, you're looking from like a growth standpoint. Like,
Right.
oh, what could be out there? Is there something that like that could light me up again? Like it's not like get me the fuck out of here because this person is nuts. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. That's the best time to be looking,
Yeah.
because you can look casually.
Well, and when I was in your position, right, 23 managers, I'd just sit there and go, "Why the hell am I not the manager of this department?" Like, that would be the thing that would drive me crazy.
I've been asked several times, do I want to progress to management at this company? And my answer's been the same every time. Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Because I see what happens to the managers of this company.
Yeah. They
either get fed up and they leave or they lose their soul.
Yeah.
And I'm just not willing to do either one of those.
Yep.
I'm happy to work next to my cats. And if I need to take a break, I know I can take a break.
Yeah.
No big thing.
I managed people like when I was at my college newspaper, I was like, oh, I want to be the editor in chief. So I like worked my way up, got to editor in chief. I'm like managing it's like a staff of like 10 to 15 direct reports, but it's like a whole staff of like 50 people. Never again. Okay. Like
Really?
I'm not a management person. Okay. Herding cats. Like I did
Mhm.
not understand what that phrase meant until I was in that role where I was like, this is fucking terrible. Like this is just oh my God, like everybody's going in different directions and there's a fire every day and I cannot. Like I'm best in small teams. Like that's how I thrive. Like I managed before that, I was like managing a team of 4. Beautiful. We were like the best functioning team in that, at that place, but oh my God, no. I couldn't do management like that.
Well, again, I equate it to this. You coached for me.
Mhm.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
I didn't have any fun because I was the head coach.
Right.
I have fun now because I'm not the head coach anymore.
Just get up and leave.
Everybody likes me. I'm the happy, fun guy, and that's awesome.
Yep.
Being in charge sucks.
I think that's probably one of the worst days of my life. Was at Gentex. I've always been a happy, fun guy. I mean, that's what most people know of me, right? And oh man, yeah, Nick, he's the life of the party. And I was dealing with a boss, another employee was around, and we were dealing with a truck or whatever. He was like, Nick, why are you so unhappy? And the guy looked and he goes, it's Nick, he's never happy. And I was like, what the fuck? Those words have never been said about me. And I was like, it just like hit my heart, right? And I was like, holy shit, I have to take a look at myself.
Wow.
Like at that moment, right? It was just like, what? Like I've never had those words said about me. And I was like, all right, I'm changing myself. And so like from that day, I was like, I'm gonna make this about. And so then I, just kept using the company to buy houses and stuff. But
Well, I mean, jobs can make you miserable.
oh God, yes.
Mhm.
And if they make you miserable, you're just miserable all the damn time.
Yep. Well, it was the boss. I mean, the boss was just absolute. What a horrible.
Well, and
human being.
again, why do you quit?
Yeah. Well, because the job sucks. So, now, all right. So I want to get back to your book because I want you to plug it again. What are you teaching in this book? You're teaching people the ability to what to do with money.
So I'm teaching like a bunch of things, really. So I'm teaching both like some of the, so like a lot goes into manifestation and money magic. Like I like to say that it's usually like a 3-step formula and they're pretty broad. The steps are like align your intentions, embody them deeply, take inspired action daily. And I got that from actual magic. So like I am a practicing witch. That's like how I identify. And those are the steps that you really need to like to cast an effective spell, meaning like when you say like align your intentions, that's about making sure you don't have internal resistance. And so when it comes to making money, that's where it's like you have to take inventory of like where are the places where I'm holding shame, where are the places where I'm not being honest with myself or I'm not being authentic about what I want. A lot of times we kind of plug along in our careers because we think like this is the path I'm supposed to take, or this is like I can't leave this job because people depend on me, or my parents will not be proud of me if I like leave my legal career behind, or whatever it is, right? That's like, where it was for me. So aligning your intentions is about getting your brain on board with like what it is you're actually wanting, because it's not just about making money. It's about making money in a way that's going to be sustainable for you. And so that is like where you have to like really do the deep dive on like what's going on in my brain that's creating resistance to me getting ahead when it comes to making money. Embodying those intentions, that's when we get into the things about like how am I going to create a life that starts looking like how I envision my life when I'm making the money that I want. And so that goes in a few different ways. So first of all, if you've never seen somebody who has the kind of life that you want or the job that you want, it's going to be really hard for you to create it because your brain's like, well, that doesn't exist. So you have to like find people, like find role models who show you like, hey, what you want is possible. It's out there and you can find it. It's also about like, how do you get your day-to-day routine or your environment set up in a way to support those new goals? So that can look like something magical where it's like deity work, right? You can like work with a god or a goddess because they represent something, right? Like a really easy example is like Venus or Aphrodite. Oh, I want to like find love. And so if I'm trying to like embody Venus or like Venusian energy, I'm gonna like make sure I like look cute every day. I feel beautiful. I wear perfume, like things like that. Not necessarily because it's like, oh, I'm gonna do that and I'm magically gonna attract somebody, but because it makes you start living like you are that person, like you do have that thing. So I talk about breaking that down and thinking about what your rich life looks like. So, if and even if you don't have the funds to get it now, there are usually ways to get there. So let's say you're like, okay, well, when I have that goal, I'm gonna have a cleaner because I'm a messy slob and I can't keep my house clean. I am one of these people. So I don't like to clean my floors. It's like the grossest thing to me. I do not like to sweep or vacuum or mop. Like that's like the thing that I cannot seem to do. But I do love to cook. So I could trade with a friend. I could say like, hey, you buy the groceries, I'll meal prep for you for like the week, like do all your dinners so you don't have to worry about it. And all you have to do is clean my floor. And like we trade, and my brain doesn't know the difference. My brain's like, we have a cleaner now. Look at us. And what happens is that your brain says, wait a second, I'm only supposed to have this once I have the goal or once I have the amount of money. And because your brain is a problem solving machine, it'll start to find solutions to close the gap. That's when you start getting these inspired ideas on like, maybe I should reach out to this person, or maybe I should look at this job board, or maybe I should go to this event. And then finally, like taking inspired action daily, that's where it's like you're following those intuitive downloads. So some of that's like where it comes in the practical financial advice. Budgeting is a real thing that we got to like figure out how to do. So is, understanding like personal finance and like what our goals are and how to get there, how to network your way to a job, or how to start a business, or, getting real with yourself and saying like, I either need to cut my expenses or bring in more money. That practical stuff, that's how you take that inspired action. So you're not just following your intuition, you're starting to really go out and change the way that you're doing things. And it can also be like spells and things like that, but really at the end of the day, science, just like they say like magic is science, science is magic. I like to say that money magic is personal finance, and personal finance is money magic. You just have to be willing to kind of go out after both. And so that's what this book is doing. It's looking not just at the money mindset aspect, not just at the budgeting and job hunting and starting business stuff, not just at the magic, it's all of it, because it all kind of needs to happen together. That's when you start to get those magical effects. And it feels like, wow, my life is like so charmed. And really, you're just like doing the work with a new perspective.
Yeah, saying I think it'll help a lot of people to look at it like, in a different way than what normal people look at things.
I agree, because like I've said that I was spending years trying to find a book like this because I could find piecemeal things. Like all I could really find was like a spell book for money spells. And I was like, that's not really what I'm looking for. Like I want to like, I need to like look internally, and then I also need like practical steps, and then I also want to understand like how the science of all of this works, and like I wanted a bunch of different things and I could never find it in one space. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to create it then. And that's where that book was born from.
There you go. And now it's okay. So it's available pre-sale. Where can people find it?
So if they just go to thewitcheswaytowealth.com or come to my website, which is jessicadasilva.com, there's like a books tab, and that'll take you straight to where you can order it. But it's wherever books are sold. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble. Like I'm very like proud of the fact that I'm like out there. I'm like on Target and stuff. I'm like, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug this. If you need the book, go to Betty's Pages.
There you go.
Yes, Betty's Pages. Like I've been pointing everybody there. So that's like I want to support Nicole as much as I can. I love her place.
And so when you release, how long does it take till you become a bestseller?
Oh, so I've had that on my manifestation list for years, like being a bestseller, like a New York Times bestseller. And I know there's a lot of politics that goes into the New York Times bestseller list, but that's just the sales number I've had in mind. So you can hit it at any point, but your best bet is usually in the first week because all your pre-orders count
Yep.
toward the sales of that first week. So yeah.
There you go. I was saying that'll be so pre-order the hell out of this so
Yeah.
that way we can get 2 copies, one with a gold ribbon on it that says #1 bestseller, and then the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
So excited. Yeah. It's like I've been manifesting it, and I have like I'm getting the feeling like I feel like it's gonna happen because the response to it has just been like so crazy so far. It's been like people are really excited about it. When they hear about it, when they see it, you know, my agent got her like a box of copies and she said they were gone within the same day because everybody in the office wanted a copy.
Good.
That's awesome.
And you know, you bring up the difference between men and women for pay and things, but you know, we talk about it, right? There's Dave Ramsey, there's the money guys, there's a lot of men with the money aspect, and then you know, when you try to list off the women that are involved in money, I
There's
don't
not a
I don't
lot.
remember her name. She's pretty big, but then you get the Shark Tank lady or ladies, yeah, I guess
Yeah, there's a couple.
Barb and whatever.
Lori.
Yeah, but you know, really, it's not a common thing. So like getting more women that are doing this will hopefully get people like my niece to start fucking doing money things.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
This
we
is
have
her Christmas present right here, right?
I've already
Yeah.
bought her all of her Christmas presents. I'm not buying her anymore.
we have
I will buy her
girls
that.
that we coached
Yeah,
that got turned on to Jessie because we had her on the show. 'Cause
Yeah.
Jessica loves her.
Yeah.
And my daughter listens too.
yeah.
So I
Aw.
mean,
There's very few episodes these people listen to of us.
Yeah.
They just
well, I mean, they've listened to us so many times they're
Right.
just annoyed with us.
yeah.
But they do like the Jessie DaSilvia episodes.
Oh, that makes my heart like so happy
Yeah.
because
Ma-
I love talking to like young people, like it's because you know it's so cheesy, but like they are the future. So
Mhm.
and they are like sponges. They want to like soak up everything. Like when something resonates with them, they listen and it
Yeah.
sticks with them forever.
And now, do you do any youth events?
I mean, I haven't specifically, but I would love to. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I would be happy to talk to young people. So
Yeah, that's I think where my passion is and David as well.
We like teaching the kids.
We do. I say we love. You know, honestly, all of our favorite episodes are Pops and Pennies.
Yeah.
The interviews and things like this is great, but we'd much rather just do like a 10-minute Pops and Pennies because like we're just like so.
Yeah, because we hear back from those kids and they're like, "Oh my god, I have my 3 jars."
Yep. Say, it's just so much better for us. You know, but I think I wish you the best of luck with it. I really do. I think it'll hit top seller. September 19th, correct?
yep, that's when it comes
Okay.
out. Like officially, that's what I'm like, you know, it's like I've been saying from the beginning, like I was saying for a long time, I'm like, it doesn't feel real. It won't feel real until I have a copy. And like I have a copy now, and it definitely feels realer, but I think it's gonna be a whole different level of real when I like see it on a shelf in a store and
Mhm.
like I didn't put it there, you know, like it's
Yeah.
been like they ordered it and put it on the shelf. That's gonna be a new experience for me, which
I'm super excited for like your social media when you go because I feel like you're gonna be a lot like me. Well, you'll go around to these places and just start taking selfies with your own book and be like, "That's me. What's
yeah.
up?" Like
Yes.
spotted here, spotted there. You know, I think that's gonna
Oh,
be
I
great.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
So I'm gonna hold you to that, and then maybe you'll follow Bucks and Brews after that on your Facebook page.
I do. I don't know why it's not showing up.
So heartbroken. We should, you know, you're a pretty big deal. Just call Mark yourself and tell him to fix his shit. Just say like, Zuck, what's up, bro? Fix your shit.
If only, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if he'd be a cool guy or not.
I don't think him and I would get along.
So it's weird how that works. So, all right. Now the people you're dealing with, are you trying to do a lot of college talks, right? Because I mean, you know, I know you have a law background, but like, are you just gonna go do a lot more college things, or
I would love to. Like again, like it's you know, breaking into like the college speakers circuit is its own thing.
Really?
But that's like, yeah, oh yeah, it's like its own thing. They have like a conference every year. You have to have like a table and stuff. Like you know, it's like it's its own thing. So I've just kind of said, you know, I'm not gonna like I'm just gonna let them come to me because
Sure.
they will. It's only a matter of time. They'll find
Yes.
me.
Have you ever been to FinCon?
No, oh my God, I want to so bad though.
Yeah,
Have you guys been? Are you
I have
going?
not, but it's been on my list, and I'm trying to convince my wife. I was telling her, I was like, "Oh, we're having the Millennial Money Witch." She goes, "I want to be called that," and I was like, "You actually have to do something with money." And she goes, "I make it and spend it," and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I
That
guess
doesn't really
right? Like,
count.
yeah, touche. I don't know, fight Jessie for it." And she's like, "Huh." I was like, "No, like,
I know your wife. That no,
yeah,
and I love your
I
wife,
love her
but
to pieces."
no,
Yep.
not with money.
No. She was bragging to me that she was all proud that she's putting money away, and I was like, "I'm very proud of you. You're doing more than me. I don't have a 401k, that's for sure."
You don't have a job.
So I'm broke and homeless. But no, so there's circuits now. What do you like to teach? Do you like to teach your whole business, like in general? Like, hey, would you rather teach people how to get their dream job, or would you rather teach them more on the financial side of things?
See, I like love all of it. Like to
Yeah.
me, you know, one of the biggest struggles I had in traditional employment is that I get bored so easily. Like if I'm in something for long enough, and I love the space I'm in now because I get to span a few different topics and I have fluidity to it. I like to feel that I don't have the same day twice. And so that's why I think I like to, you know, have a few irons in the fire as far as topics go and people whom I teach. So, I mean, like, it's hard to say. Like, I go through phases where, like, I've definitely been more on, like, the dream job thing lately, just because I've had lots of people asking me for it. My audience has been all about that. But I love the entrepreneur stuff too. I love helping business owners because it's never the same problem. Like, and I love a challenge like that. It feels like a puzzle to me. Like, let's figure out what's not working and figure out what will work for you. That's like really fun. So I love working with business owners and companies because it's never the same. Whereas with job hunting, yes, it can be more formulaic, but that what's always fun for me in that space is seeing how people build relationships and like helping them, you know, kind of dispel this idea that networking is something where they got to like put on a stuffy suit and go to some stuffy event and collect business cards and then they don't know what to do with the business cards. I like hearing their stories where they're like, "Oh, and I went to this like, you know, fun thing and I met these people and they just so happened to know these other people." And like hearing the momentum that builds from that and seeing how they like build these networks and these communities, that's always like so fun for me. So I don't have favorites. It's a long way of saying I don't have
Yeah.
favorites. Um, and there's a reason I like so many different topics is because it all comes back to money mindset. It all comes back to that. It's just kind of like different flavors of it.
Yeah. That's I do a lot of networking events. And, I mean, David knows that I don't show up in a stuffy suit, and if it is a stuffy suit place, I mean, my wife's just not getting it. My cousin doesn't listen to this, but I don't even want to go to her wedding because they're requiring, they're not requiring, but strongly required, suggested slacks and a tie. Okay, I wear slacks. I mean, to tell you how much we don't want to wear slacks, I wore fucking kilt this year to national bowling, right? Like,
Can't you
because
wear a kilt to this or no?
no, I asked my wife if I could. I was like, I'll wear my kilt and a freaking tie, but I think my aunt will escort me out. Um, but I'm sitting here just going, I don't know why. Like, I don't want to dress up anymore in my life. That's not who I am, right?
Yeah, I don't like pants either.
Yeah, it's just I've gotten to the, and I have no problem putting on shoes, but it's sandal season still here in this
Yep.
world.
Yeah.
I only get 4 months of it. Okay. I don't want shoe weather. So
Sounds to me like you need a hot pink tiger print suit.
I think you do.
If they made them in my size, I would. Okay, but they don't.
I mean, like I got it from Eloquii, which is a plus size brand, so you can probably order a higher, like a bigger size, and then have it tailored. I'm just saying.
I might look into this because, I've tried those like loudmouth things, but yeah, no, they don't go to my size. I'm a big dude. So, and I don't make enough money to have everything custom yet. So, I figure
Yet.
if I had that kind of money, I guess I'd probably have a personal trainer to lose some weight, but say, and then go to the normal size suit. But yeah, no, it's getting to that point because I love being loud, and because I even told her, I was like, hey, I told my wife, I'm gonna go spend a shit ton of money because I'm gonna go get some like lime green pants. I'm gonna go
Yes.
I'm gonna go get,
I have a lime green blazer that I love.
a
So
baby blue shirt with an orange
How
tie,
did that
right?
go
Like
over?
that's who I am. So you talk about magic, and it's weird because like I'm a magician, right? So like,
Mhm.
and when I was fitting into my outfit, I had a white tux, I had white pants for a tuxedo, orange vest, I had a different color tie, like a lime green tie or a blue tie type thing. Everything. I wore a lime or like a different colored shoe on each foot. Like it was clown mixed with still very classy of having a tuxedo on. And it was great. And I loved that. Like that's who I am
Yeah.
as a person, right? Like, but I can't do this whole
How did the lime green go over?
great.
No, I met with your wife for the wedding.
She's like, if you want to. And I was like, I want
But
to.
you do
Yes.
want to.
Right. Like, give me like, I don't know. I want to go get my head put on a suit, right?
Mhm.
Like, just there's me. Nope, sorry, they're slacks. They're dress ones too.
You should
I'll-
check like Etsy. I bet somebody would like create something
Yeah.
for like, more an affordable rate.
I'll get them pleated and everything, right? Because I have no problem. Like, make it classy, make it stand out,
Yeah.
right? So, all right, so you're in Jacksonville now? Is that
No,
what I'm
now I'm in
gathering?
Gainesville.
Gainesville. Okay, sorry. And what made you move?
Well, my fiance got a job. He graduated with his PhD.
Oh, woo!
Yeah. So, and I
Sounds like a
lived in
loser.
I lived in Tallahassee. I'm a Gator, and I was living in Tallahassee for him to get his PhD for, the past almost 3 years. So now it's his turn to be in enemy territory. So he got a job, and so, he's going to be teaching at 2 different campuses, and Gainesville's right in the middle between the two. So it works out perfectly. So now I'm back in my home turf. And thankfully he loves it. He's admitted it's better than Tallahassee. So that's all that matters.
Good for you guys. And my wedding invite is where?
Oh,
I
we
didn't make-
haven't officially
I
we
didn't
haven't
make that
officially
list
started
either.
planning it. We haven't.
Yeah.
I know. Well, we've been engaged for almost like 4 years now, but
Jeez.
yeah, I know. But next year, we're saying next year we're finally going to do it. We're going to do a Halloween wedding. So
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
nice.
totally in.
Yeah.
I guess I have to fly down to Florida. Do I have to wear slacks and a tie?
Yes.
Okay, I've said you don't have to. I've said like classy Halloween, not polyester Halloween, but you can wear whatever. It's fine.
Show up in a pimp suit.
I mean, I got a
say,
costume.
say,
I've
I'm
said like we're looking at like maybe Savannah, maybe New Orleans, so that way it's like already kind of spooky vibes.
there you go.
So we haven't
So-
started planning because he just started his job, and he's the one who's got to rein in my tackiness. So
Yeah.
gotta.
Well, let me just put it out there. The good news is the most handsome person you're looking at on this thing right now happens to be ordained.
Oh,
And so, I work for beer. I'm just saying. So,
that is good info.
yeah, I say I'll be up there in my my preacher Halloween costume, just making jokes the whole time. Say, but
We went to a wedding where both the grooms, like one of their moms, like their mom, dressed up like Moira in Schitt's Creek when she
Yes.
like married them. Yeah, she did the whole outfit with the big like bishop hat. It was amazing. It was so funny.
I'm
And she
jealous I didn't
married
get
them.
invited to that one.
Yeah. That one was last year. That was so fun.
Yeah. Let's say anything else, David?
I think we hit a lot today.
Jesse, anything else that we've missed that you want to update us on in your life and what's going on?
No, but I do have two pieces of advice I'm going to leave people with.
Absolutely.
Because some people struggle with like discussing salaries with like friends and coworkers and stuff. So this is a tip I got from the interwebs a few years ago that has never failed me. And it's called the over under game. So if somebody is reticent to like give you their salary, you can say, well, can you tell me if you make over or under this number? So you'll be like 40,000 over or under. Okay, they'll be like over 50,000 over or under. And you keep going until you kind of have an idea of where they are. So that's like a nice way to like figure out what people are making in your workplace without being so blunt or like making them feel uncomfortable. And the other thing, the question where they ask about like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You answer it honestly, right? You can say like, oh, well, I hope that I'm in a place where blah, 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 blah. But I always like to follow it up with the question of, what do you offer your employees to make sure that they are still here in 5 years? Because why not put it back on them? If they're going to put it on you, put it back on them.
I ask that question every time because, I'll get asked that question. Hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself in a top leadership management position above where you are currently. What are you going to do to help me get there?
Mhm.
Oh, well, that's a really quick take on it. Okay, great. Like you don't know anybody that's that ambitious to get to that point. Like, doesn't mean you have something there for me, right? I'm telling you where I see myself. Hold on. And I've actually followed it up too with, I don't know, where do you see me in 5 years? Right. I've asked that. And I'm like, because I've told you, where do you see me? Well, wherever you want to get to. No, that's not true because you haven't, like I told you where I want to be. I want to be a vice president of the company. What do I have to do to get there? Right. Like,
I love that. Oh, I love that.
But I'm very blunt and forward,
Mhm.
which is why I don't get a lot of position things because people are like, yeah, no, that's kind of full of shit. And I'm like, oh, like I'm holding you accountable.
I'm gonna rephrase that for you. It's why you've dodged so many bullets.
It's a fact.
Yeah. Because you got to be authentic in those interactions. Otherwise, you wind up in a place where, they don't like who you actually are, right?
I think we talked about it on the episode with you about asking about money and time off and things like that, because, the person that was doing my pre-interview was like, maybe you shouldn't ask those questions. The fuck, those are the only things I care about. Like,
Right.
Those are the questions. What does your benefits look like? What does my time off look like? I say, I'm here for a paycheck. Okay. I'm trading you my hours for your money.
Right.
So,
Yeah. People forget that sometimes, but that's the other thing is like, it's okay to like bounce. Like if you
Mhm.
know in a job interview or a screening that you're like, oh, this is not going to be aligned, you can say that. You can just say, based on how this conversation's going, I can just tell that this is not the right position for me and I'm not going to thrive here. So I want to thank you for your time and I'm going to see myself out basically.
Yep. And it's not burning a bridge, right? Because you never
Because
got
you don't want
there.
to go to
Right.
that place anyway. Yeah.
So,
So
yep. And just, people have to get the, I don't know, the guts to go say those things and go do it, right? Because really value your time.
Yeah.
I mean, how many interviews have you ever sat through where they're just asking you stupid questions and it's just like, are you serious right now? Like,
right.
I don't know why I'm answering this,
Those are some of the funnest interviews, honestly.
Yeah.
Because by that point, I just don't have any fucks left to give.
So you just start setting things off. So
Yeah. I saw a meme the other day that was like, why do you want this job? And the answer was like, because y'all hiring. What the fuck? Like,
say yes. Yeah. Yeah. What drew you to this company? The now hiring sign you put out, okay?
right.
Like you said pay for work. I said I work for pay. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that's all we needed here. Yeah. I don't, I want to touch base if you wouldn't mind, I guess. Can we reiterate with a couple of these people? What are some red flags to look for in a company?
Oh, okay. My top one is anytime they say we're like a family.
We're
here."
like a family.
That's like, and it's not always a red flag. I'll say it's more of like a pink flag. Like you got to like kind of do your due diligence, because whenever I hear we're like a family, what I hear is we have no respect for your boundaries and we'll say whatever the fuck we want to you.
Yep.
Right? Like that's what I hear when I hear like we're like a family. And like people will say things outside of that where it's like, they'll maybe say like, oh, everybody gets along, we're all friendly here, people hang out outside of work. But like for some reason the phrase we're like a family here, that always seems to be like a red flag for me. Um, if somebody pushes back on like normal standard questions, like you were saying about salary, about vacation time, things like that, if there's pushback there, that tells you that like they have some kind of problem with you advocating for yourself. I always tell people like never, like when they're asking for salary, like you never want to give the first number. So even in job applications, if it's requiring you to put in an expected salary, I always say put in a fake number, so like 11111 or something like that, where it's like obviously not a real number, and just instead go with the phrase, I'll accept any reasonable offer. But sometimes people push back against that. They'll be like, that's so wonderful, great, but like what is it really? And you'll be like, well, what really matters to me is that I'm in the right place, doing the right kind of job, blah 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 blah. And they'll be like, okay, so cute, what is your expected salary? And you can say, what's your budget for it? What's your range? What's the range for the position? And if they push back and say something like I've heard before, which is, well, that's doing it backwards, then you got to run in the other direction, because that just means they're trying to get you as cheaply as they can.
Yeah.
So those are like my top ones. Yeah, it's like when there's pushback on questions like that, if they like, especially in like salary negotiation, if they're going to be like shitty about it, they're like, that's how they're starting off the relationship when they're trying to impress you. Just imagine how much worse it's going to be when you want to raise.
Yeah. I remember my McDonald's application, it said requested salary, and I put $82,000. And they brought that up to me. They're like, you put 82,000? And I was like, yep, that's where I'd like to be. Why don't you tell me what you're looking to hire at? And they're like, well, we start at $8.75 an hour. And I was like, okay, like sounds great, but you asked me where I want to be. Okay, like that's where I want to be.
I'm here to dream big. All right.
Yep.
Like,
and I walked out of an interview one time because I was getting into an argument. They asked, hey, do you have any questions? And I said, yes. What's your starting salary here in the corporation? Oh, we don't talk about that in the first interview. And I said, great. Sounds like there won't be another interview. And I got up and walked out, because I was like, you're not going to sit here and tell me how much you're paying. You're wasting my time at this point.
that's a fucking trap. Yeah.
Give me. And
yeah.
So they're like, what? And like, I literally got up and I was like, yep, I guess there's not a second interview here. I was like, you're not getting me to come twice without telling me what I'm going to come work for. And that was fun. So
yeah.
the
mantra I have is like, the person to give the first number loses. So make it the company. It can't be you, because they have manpower that you don't. So.
Yep. And I always ask for more, because you can always go down. You can't ever go back up. Right.
Yes. Yeah. I'll say, like, if somebody comes back to you with like a salary you actually love, because I've had a lot of people where they're like, holy shit, they just gave me like offered me double what I'm making now. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And like, if you like the salary, I say just for practice, ask for 10K more. So if like you're going to give a number, always give 10K over what you feel comfortable asking for, because you never know. So like I had someone do this where she had been making like 50 something a year. And then she goes to like at like a smaller law firm, like small to mid-sized law firm. She ends up going to work for a big law, and they come at her and they're like, how about 110? And she was like, oh my God, I was expecting 100. Like, this is insane. This is so much money. And she remembered what I said. I said, at least ask for 10K more. So she said, I was really hoping to be more in the range of 120. They didn't even blink. They were like, okay, we'll make it 120. We'll have you come on. Boom. And like, it was like, that was 10K that was on the table that she would have had no idea was there if she hadn't asked. So even if it's a salary you love and you're tempted to take it, just for practice, ask for another 10K. You never know.
Yep. And you can ask in a way of, I was really hoping for,
Yeah.
this. And trust me, though, they have no problem coming back. Well, hey, 110 is really where our max is.
Mhm.
We'll give you
Yeah,
time to think about it. And honestly, at that point, if you're really excited about it, just say, I
you
think I
can
can.
still say
I
yes.
I think I
Yeah.
can do that. Let's start and see where it goes, and we'll maybe we can renegotiate in 3 to 6 months, right? When you see my work
Exactly.
performance,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then in 3 to 6 months they just tell you to go piss off. But still, to say no, it's and then so again, you're not locked into the nobody's ever going to go, yeah, no, we're not doing that, bye, unless they didn't want you in the first place. Right.
Yeah, if somebody were to like revoke a job offer because you tried to negotiate the salary, that tells you everything you need to know about them, and you
So-
just dodged a major bullet, like
Yep.
honestly. So yeah, I always say like, companies like that's part of the job. That's
Yeah.
part of the job of hiring somebody is negotiating the salary. That is a normal part of like business operations,
Yep.
whether you're a nonprofit or what, like that's part of it. And so if they're going to act like that's like offensive for you to do, then that just tells you everything you need to know about the culture.
Yeah. I mean, even at Gentex, they're like, this is what we start everybody at. And I was like, nah, I want to be at like 10-10, or 11-10. Well, no, we start everybody at 11. No, I want to be 10 cents higher, right? Just no, we don't do that. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll take it. But like I knew I was going into the next level like 2 days later, which was gonna be
Right.
1370 or whatever. But yeah, I literally was fighting for a tooth and nail. I'm like, no, this is what I want to get hired in at. So
Yeah, no one else is going to advocate for you. You have to advocate
Mhm.
for
yeah,
yourself.
saying no companies. I mean, if companies were handing out money for free, everybody'd work there. But like,
Right.
no company's ever just gonna go, yeah, sure, here you go, like have fun with it. So
Right. Yeah.
everybody gets $50 million. So no, I think those red flags are great. I will go back to the one that you said originally, right? We're like a family. One of the companies I applied for was like, yeah, we're like a family. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we have company picnics, stuff like that. And then it was like, well, the owner, his son is the vice president and his nephew's the head of the department over here. And I was like, all right, does anybody in the family work on the floor? Right? Like, is this a real,
Yeah.
like you guys are family. We're just working for this fucking family. Like that's what's going on here. But yeah, his wife's a secretary, right? I'm like, yep, I see where
Mhm.
I'm the head of HR and I'm, the niece. And I was like, yeah, okay. I see where this is going.
We're having a meeting last week
Yeah.
before my boss goes on vacation. And she goes, hey, anybody going to the summer celebration they're doing at all of our campuses? I went, hell no. It's the first one to answer. And she's like, oh, I'm not driving in to eat your shitty food and hang out with people I don't know or like. No, not doing it. I'll stay home. Thanks.
Yeah. Mandatory fun is like not the vibe.
No.
I always so when I worked at Gentex, they had a pumpkin carving contest.
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh, that's different. Okay. Like I
Well-
would sign up for that so fast.
Well, so the problem was it was like a vote by your peers type thing. And my boss or at the time he's an artist. I mean, he's done so many children's books, he's done some adult, like he is an artist.
He's a real artist.
Like fucking factual, right? And then there's all these other people that took so much time to like do their pumpkin, right? And I walked in with this little gourd and just took a plastic knife from the drawer and just wrote Gentex on it and walked around to everybody and made them vote for me. So I win $100 and like, it's funny because the people that this is bullshit. And I was like, see, the idea is not how much effort you put into it and what you did. It's literally, can you get these people to side for you? This is how this company works. I was like, everybody was pissed, right? Because you're like, what the fuck? Like, how do you get? And I was like, I just asked for their vote. They said, I don't give a shit, because they didn't get into it. Like, yeah, Nick, I got you. So, yeah, that was
That's
my
hilarious.
right? And I think I
Yeah.
probably found the gourd on the side of the road on the way driving
Right.
it, right? But hey, $300, I'll take it.
Yeah, no
You got to
kidding.
know your audience. Yeah.
That's exactly it. I mean, bosses didn't need money. So, but, he's got this elaborate, huge, like he
Oh,
spent, 20 hours on it. And there's me in the morning with a plastic butter knife for 6 seconds, just jig. But Oh, all right. I say everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to Perrin for some beers. I do have a Perrin No Rules in my car that I'm gonna drink on the way home. Sorry, that said pause for laughter. No, say, say if you're still listening, thank you. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate you joining us. David, what'd you have to drink?
I had the forbidden fruit. That was the watermelon,
Yep.
which you did not like. I had a juicy peach from Leinenkugels, and I had a juicy pear. And then
Wow.
Pigeon Hills salted caramel porter.
There you go. And Jesse, thank you so much for joining us again. Congrats on the book release when it happens, September 19th. You can get it at Betty's Pages. You can get it on Amazon, anywhere books are sold. What did you have to drink?
I had Swamp Head
Oh.
Wild Tonight, which is their honey cream ale.
There you go. Again, congrats on all the success. We're looking forward to having you on again. And hopefully when you come here to Michigan for your book signing, and there'll be at least 2 people in line
Yep.
for the book.
Yes.
So, I bet we could probably get 3, but I would say there's 2 of us for sure.
At least 2 of us.
So
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
take care.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Thanks for joining as always, people, and we will talk to you very soon.
You've dialed in.
To Box and Brews, you might hear something
You can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use.
smarts of these
Because
stuff.
they know the
And
brews.
they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
And save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
brews.
Bucks and brews.